Hi, boys and girls. We're doing chapter 34, Perek Lamed Daled in Sefer Dvarim. It is the last chapter in Dvarim, and then some students, that will be it for them. Others will have other material depending on the grade that you're in. First, I want to point out to the map. So this is the map of Eretz Israel. This is the Dead Sea. This is the Sea of Galilee, or Kinneret. And we are here in Moab. Edom was down here, you remember that. Moab is here. Ammon, you remember they had to go around because some people didn't let them go in. From Moab, just a bit up, is Jericho. This is where the Israelites crossed into Eretz Israel. And here is Mount Nebo. So whereas Aharon died somewhere in here in Hor Hahar, Moshe dies in Mount Nevo, and we are around here, okay, in the prairies of Moab. I'm now going to move up and we'll go into the text so you will see where we are, and hopefully you'll be able to identify it as we go through the text. And this is the last parasha that Moshe is alive in Sefer Dvarim. So just give me a minute to roll up there and we are ready to start. Perek Lamed Daled, chapter 34, and here we go. Vaya'al Moshe Me'arvot Moav el Har Nevo. Moshe traveled from Moab to Har Nevo. And on Har Nevo, God tells him to go up to the top of the mountain, Rosh HaPisgah, Asher al Pnei Yericho, facing Jericho. And over there, God showed him, the land of Gilad till Dan, and he showed him Eretz Israel, Naphtali, Ephraim, Menashe, all the way to the Mediterranean. On a clear day, you could see across. He also sees the Negev. We'll come back when we get to the end so that I'll point out all these things. And they're in the valley of Jericho, which is called the City of Dates. Vayomer Adonai elav, Zot haaretz, this is the land. Moshe, this is the land that I promised Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. I promised it to your children, and I promised I'll give it to your children and their children. And you can only see it. Hireticha be'einecha, tistakel im ha'einayim, shama lo ta'avor. And Moshe dies, Eved Hashem. He's called Eved Hashem. Moshe dies. Be'eretz Moav al pi Adonai. He dies in Moab, as God said. Vayigbor oto bagai be'eretz Moav. And he was buried in the valley in Moab, mul Beit Peor, facing Beit Peor, and nobody knows where he was buried to this day. How old was Moshe? He was 120 years old. Lo kahata eino, his eyes were not dim, his face was not wrinkled, and Bnei Israel cried for Moshe in the prairies of Moab for 30 days, until the days of mourning for Moshe were over. Yoshua bin Nun, and Yoshua bin Nun was filled with the spirit that Moshe placed upon him when he placed his hands on his shoulders, and everybody listened to Yoshua like God commanded Moshe. And there was no Navi in Israel like Moshe. Okay, you sing that in Yigdal? That God knew face to face. Remember, there were two similar phrases that were used. One is panim el panim, and one is pe el pe. God spoke to Moshe mouth to mouth or face to face. Whoops. L'chol ha'otot ve'amoftim, and he did all the signs and all the miracles. Whatever God sent him in Egypt, to Pharaoh, to all the people, and to mighty hand, and the great love that Moshe had in front of all of Israel. Okay, so that brings us to the end. But I will go down and look again. Moshe is here and he looks. He sees Jericho. He sees up to the Gilad. He sees across. He sees over to the sea. He sees to the Negev, all from Mount Nebo. That concludes Sefer Dvarim.